All right, let's pull back the curtain on the single most important machine in your home. The one you probably never ever think about until, of course, it breaks. So I'll start with a riddle for you. What's the one thing that works its tail off all year round through brutal heat and freezing cold, but you only really notice it the second it stops working? You guessed it, it's your HVAC system. Your home's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning is the absolute unsung hero, that invisible force that's just quietly working 24/7 to keep you and your family comfortable. But here's the thing, even the most reliable systems can't just run forever without a single problem. So let's get into why your comfort sometimes fails and what exactly causes these workhorse machines to break down in the first place. Your HVAC system is kind of under constant assault from the world around it. I mean, think about it. That brutal summer humidity makes your AC work way harder than it wants to. The winter's freeze-thaw cycles put a ton of stress on your furnace. And then you throw in all the dust and debris clogging things up, and the power surges from storms. Yeah, you can see why breakdowns aren't, well, pretty much inevitable. But here's the good news. These systems almost never fail out of the blue. Your house is actually sending you little clues all the time. You just have to know what you're listening for. Let's kick things off with an absolute classic summer nightmare. Okay, picture this. It's a ridiculously hot day, you've got the AC blasting, but the air coming out of your vents is warm. It's gotta be one of the most frustrating things ever. So what's going on? Well, a super common culprit is a refrigerant leak. You can think of refrigerant as the lifeblood of your AC. It's the magic stuff that actually grabs the heat from inside your house and dumps it outside. So if you've got a leak, your system just can't cool anymore, and all you get is that frustratingly warm air. All right, let's flip the script to winter. You hear the furnace kick on, the fan starts blowing, but the air coming out of the vents is just kinda meh. It's room temperature or maybe even a little chilly. What in the world is going on? A lot of the time, the villain is this tiny, surprisingly fragile part called a cracked igniter. See, this thing has to get glowing hot to light the gas for your furnace. After doing that thousands of times over the years, all that intense heat just causes it to wear out and crack. No spark means no flame, and, well, no flame means no heat. Now, here's a symptom that can sneak up on you any time of year, whether you're heating or cooling. You just notice that the air coming from your vents feels kind of weak, wimpy almost. The system is definitely running, but it feels like it's barely exhaling. This one almost always points to a failing blower motor. The blower is basically the lungs of your entire HVAC system. If that motor is weak or it's dead, it doesn't matter how hot the furnace gets or how cold the AC coil is. That wonderful conditioned air just isn't getting pushed out into your rooms. So whenever you're staring down one of these major failures, it always leads to the big and, let's be honest, kind of scary question. Do you repair the system you've got, or is it finally time to replace the whole thing? And that really is the heart of the problem, right? A repair can be a great short-term fix, especially if your system isn't that old. But if you've got an older unit, paying for one big repair after another might just be throwing good money after bad. That's when a replacement starts to look like a much better long-term investment. So how do you decide without just guessing? Well, there's a fantastic little rule of thumb that pros use, and it's called the $5,000 rule. It's super simple. Just multiply the age of your unit in years by how much the repair is going to cost. If that final number is over $5,000, it's a really strong sign that you're better off replacing it. Let's make that really clear with an example. Okay, let's say your air conditioner is 12 years old, and a technician tells you it's going to be a $500 repair. So you take 12 years times $500, and that gives you $6,000. Since that's over the $5,000 mark, the rule says, yep, it's probably time to start shopping for a new one. Of course, for that rule to be useful, you have to know what old actually means for an HVAC system. In a place with tough summers and cold winters, a central air conditioner usually lasts somewhere between 12 and 15 years. A gas furnace, on the other hand, can often make it to 15, maybe even 20 years. Knowing this gives you that crucial context for making your decision. Okay, so you've made the call. You've decided to bring in a professional. What should happen next? Let's take the mystery out of a service call so you know exactly what a good, straightforward process is supposed to look like. A professional service call really should follow these 3 simple steps. First, they diagnose the problem and give you clear options with the price right up front. No surprises. Second, once you give the okay, they do the repair work. And finally, and this is so important, they verify.
They should always test the system and make sure it's running perfectly before they even think about leaving. It's a clear, simple path back to being comfortable. So just remember, your HVAC system is talking to you all the time through those weird sounds, that weak airflow, or temperatures that are all over the place. Now that you know the signs, what is your home trying to tell you?